Hey guys, welcome to today's reading. I know it's been a while since I last posted. I'm so excited to be back and back on track with my schedule and everything. But let's get into today's topic. So, we are getting into your July forecast. We're going to see what's going on in July 2024 for you, what you have to expect, all the good, all the bad, everything to be aware of, look out for, everything to happily anticipate. We're going to get into all of it. And today we have a selection of paintings for you to choose from. So if you're new to this channel, welcome. I'm so happy to have you. And basically you're going to see which of these paintings is sticking out to you, calling your name, drawing your attention in towards it. And then as soon as you make up your mind, just scroll down to the timestamps in the comments and the description and jump right into your pile. By the way, if you like how I read tarot and you want to see more of it, then be sure to head to my Patreon where I post all my additional readings. I just posted a reading all about your special person, soulmate, what the timeline is for them coming to you, what they're up to now, what they're like, what your meeting is going to be like. We get into a whole lot of details over there, but there are over 80 exclusive readings you'll only get access to when you sign up for my Patreon, and you also get early and ad-free access to all my YouTube videos, so they always get posted over there first. If that sounds good to you and you're interested in signing up, head to the link underneath the timestamps in the comments and the description and join me on Patreon. Also, if you're interested in booking a private session with me, you can do that at my website, briarrosetarot.com. You can sign up for a tarot reading, channeling session, an astrology reading, a half-hour-long reading, a full hour-long reading. You get to really customize your reading so it's the perfect reading for you. If you're interested in that, head to the link in my description for briarrosetarot.com. So that's about all I have to say, guys. Now, if you need more time to decide, you can totally feel free to rewind, pause, and take as much time as you need, but we're going to go ahead and jump into pile one. Hey, pile one, welcome to your reading. Let's get into your cards. You guys got the Ace of Pentacles, the Eight of Cups, the Ten of Wands, the King of Cups, and the Prince of Wands. So there could be a beautiful new opportunity happening for you in your life in the upcoming month of July. And I feel like what's really coming through most of all is there's something you're really ready to leave behind. I feel like a lot of this has to do with like putting your foot down and saying no to something. With the Ten of Wands, some of you guys may have been feeling overwhelmed or like a situation is just unfair. And I feel like this, what I'm hearing from Spirit is a lot of this is about like finding your voice. And with the King of Cups being reversed, maybe no longer taking an attitude of like, oh, I'm going to be so patient and kind and give this person the benefit of the doubt or give this situation the benefit of the doubt. With the King of Cups as a reverse as well, that can indicate that you're like ignoring your intuition about something. Like maybe you've had some kind of a thought, an intuition, an inkling of something niggling away in the back of your mind, but you keep pushing it away, or you keep being like, no, it's not that deep, or like, oh, it's not that big of a deal, I'm overthinking, or it's not that bad. And I feel like Spirit wants you to know that like everything you're thinking is right, and that maybe what you're asking for isn't unreasonable. Like I feel like there's almost situations in which you have been called selfish, or when you try to like advocate for yourself, someone is like, oh, you're being so selfish. And I feel like this month is really about you being able to speak up and say what you want, and like having the full trust in that, like speaking up and saying it with some bass in your voice. You know what I mean? Like asking for it, demanding it, and knowing that you're in the right, knowing that I'm not being unreasonable, I'm not being crazy, and what I'm asking for is okay, and of course I should be able to ask for this. And maybe being a little bit more forceful about it with this Prince of Wands as well. Like I feel like some of you guys, you've almost been in this swirl of Neptunian moon energy, like very water energy. And one thing about water, obviously I love water. I'm a groundwater trine, so I'm not hating on water, but it can obscure. It can make you kind of have a hard time seeing things. If you think about when you stick your hand into a pool or into a body of water and it suddenly disappears, or it looks distorted, or you know, someone drops something in water and you can't find it, and suddenly it's like you drop your phone into a lake and it's gone because you can't find it again, you know. Water has that ability to kind of like disguise, bury something. It makes it sometimes hard to tell like what's going on here. And I feel like you really need to know that your intuition about a situation or your feelings about a situation aren't crazy. And this month of July, it may really come to a head. There may be something that you've been kind of burying or ignoring, or just kind of like not really wanting to process, and it's like you can't really ignore it anymore, and you have to be honest, you have to confront it in a way that maybe feels a little uncomfortable for you, or maybe you're like, oh, this isn't really what I want. I feel like for a lot of you guys, there's an energy of like taking your power back and realizing who you are. Like realizing, oh my God, like I'm this person and I can do this and I have this level of status. Like it's almost like, yeah, kind of like stepping into a Leo vibe of like knowing your self-worth, knowing your own power, finding your sun energy where you're like, I know how much I'm bringing to the table. I don't need you to doubt me. I don't need you to try to make me feel bad because I know how special I am. And I feel like it's almost like this situation, sometimes it may be fixable. Like there's a situation in which you keep sacrificing your own needs or sacrificing your own desires and hoping that maybe it's going to magically work out, or the other person's going to magically shift and do what you want, or something's just going to budge. And I feel like this is about really learning to like take initiative and really learning that you have every right to ask for what you want. And if you don't step up and put your foot down, this situation may just persist and continue. With the 10 of Wands, some of you guys may be feeling really burnt out. There may be a situation where you're really overburdening yourself. And I think sometimes that's one thing we do, especially when we know like a situation is bad, but we don't want to confront it, is we tell ourselves like, it's fine, I can keep going. And sometimes that's when, like I was just reading about this for blood types as well, like especially O blood types. I think projectors do this, but sometimes you can like have your health, you can have your health like burn out because you use so much energy and you keep relying on like, I'll just keep working, I'll just keep going, like it's fine, I can handle it. One of those situations where someone's like, listen, I only got 4 hours of sleep last night and 4 hours of sleep the night before, and I only got 6 the night before, and then also 5 the night before that, so I'm really tired. But instead of like taking a nap or making myself go to bed early or confronting this situation that is clearly untenable, because if like whatever is causing this, whether it's a job, whether it's a person, whatever is keeping me from having 8 hours of sleep and forcing me to get 4 hours of sleep, whether it's I have to wake up at 4 a.m. for my new job, whether it's I have a partner that keeps me up super late, whether it's I have a living situation that's just horribly loud, whatever it is, it's clearly untenable. It's not going to work long term. And it's almost like I'm going to have to be strong enough to confront this instead of just telling myself, oh, I'll just chug some coffee, I'll just have an energy drink, I'll just keep going. Because that's when you get sick, right? That's when and sometimes Spirit puts you through these difficult situations, like sometimes you're in a situation you don't have a choice and you are having your sleep disrupted for whatever reason, and it's just a matter of getting through that. Like if you have a newborn or whatever, like you can't sit down with the newborn and tell them like, listen, I need you to be quiet. So sometimes you can't fix it. But I feel like, sometimes when we try to just push ourselves or ignore a situation, that's when things really can happen that make it so much worse. That person that keeps driving their car, even though the like engine light is on, and they just keep hoping like, oh, hopefully it's gonna fix itself. And then the engine like completely, stops working when they're driving to work, and they end up having to replace the whole engine and pay $2,000 when it may have been a small repair. Like that's kind of what I'm seeing is like for you, this is about confronting it early and handling it early so that in the future things can go better for you guys. Because right now I feel like what you're doing is just trying to like make a situation work, and it's almost like this isn't going to change on its own, So let's get some of these cards for you, pile. Love how my nails match these cards. Pile number 1. What is going to be happening for them in the month of July? Okay, so we got family tree, expansion, legacy, achievement, completion, reward, personal guide, guardian angel, spirit, family. And let's get 2 more. Perfect. Ascended masters, devoted spirits with specific intentions, and thought vibrations, resonant choices, signature signals. Yeah, I feel like for you guys, there's a message that like You are so, I don't know how to describe, like, you're such a star, pile number one. You guys are so powerful. This may be a month when you get recognized for that. And there's a message that you keep thinking that, like, if you give, that people will see your worth. Or if you kind of overextend yourself, that people will see your value and you can prove yourself. And what I'm hearing is like the opposite is true. It's actually a situation where when you stand up for yourself, when you put your foot down and say, like, I can't do this anymore, or this has got to change, or I don't appreciate this, that's actually when the situation is going to unfold and like the person is, or the situation, or whoever this is going to see your worth. It's almost like that situation where someone's dating someone and they keep thinking like if they respond to every text within 2 minutes, and if they like do whatever this person says, and if they cook and clean for them, and if they blah, 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 that person's going to see their value, when maybe the opposite is true. Maybe if they didn't respond to that text and they let them be in a little uncertainty, or if that person calls them really late at night, texts them really late at night, never wants to see them, if they stop responding to that, that's the only chance for that person to kind of be like, oh, I actually see this person's value, once that energy that gets taken away and once that person reclaims their power. And I feel like for you in the month of July, there is an opportunity for amazing recognition. And it almost comes at the same time when you're ready to leave that situation behind, when you're ready to kind of like call someone's bluff. You know what I mean? Like there's maybe someone in your life or some situation, be it a workplace, be it whatever, a family, where people kind of know your value, but it's almost like they don't want you to see it. They don't want you to realize how powerful and special and amazing you are. And I feel like they kind of maybe try to like obscure that or put you down or play games because they don't really want you seeing and knowing how amazing and powerful you are. And I feel like this is about you kind of like I said, calling that bluff and being like, you know what? You don't think I'm amazing? Cool. I'm on to the next. And then this person maybe stepping forward and being like, oh, sorry, I was just kidding. And like admitting what's going on. I feel like for you, this is about like, yeah, like calling someone's bluff and like calling it out, it's kind of like too, if someone's, if you could imagine two people like haggling in a store or something, and one person says, you can have it for this price, and the other person says, well, that price, and whoever is willing to walk away and kind of call that bluff and be like, well then, if you're not willing to go down on the price, then I won't buy it. Then that's okay. Bye. And walk away. Then that might be the person who wins. Or the shop owner who's like, if you don't want to buy it for that price, then you don't want it. And so that's okay. I'll put it back behind the counter. And that's when that person might say, okay, I'll buy it. And I feel like for you, this is about like, this person knows your worth, and maybe not being in that energy where you're over giving, or you're feeling like you have to. There's also a message for some of you guys that like, you're not everyone's keeper, or you're not everyone's like fixer. Like I feel like some of you guys put up with a lot of dysfunction, or put up with people that take you for granted. And it's almost like, they know your worth, and they know their worth, but neither one of you is willing to like acknowledge that. Like this person doesn't want to acknowledge everything you do for them, or this workplace, or whatever it is, this family. They don't want to acknowledge how much you're doing and how much you're helping them. So instead they kind of try to play games with it and act like, yeah, like you do some stuff for me and I appreciate that, but anyway, it's not that great. And I feel like if you were to like really call it out, like it would be a problem. Like I saw, it was just Father's Day in the US, and some TikToks were going viral of women that said, so my husband didn't celebrate Mother's Day at all, so I decided not to celebrate Father's Day at all. I just returned the same energy. And of course, the guys that would be like, oh, who cares about Mother's Day, were suddenly, having a fit because Father's Day was supposed to be their special day, and I can't believe you wouldn't celebrate. And it's funny because all they had to do was return the same energy, stop overworking. And that's when maybe the guys, who knows if they'll realize it or not, but at least this person isn't pouring energy into a situation where they're not appreciated, right? At least they're realizing and starting to take back their power, whatever comes with it. And I feel like for you, it's almost like, reminding me of a lot of that unpaid labor that women do. And of course, I know there's things men do as well. If you're a man, you can still watch this reading or relate to it. But how women will do a lot of unpaid labor for the family, but like no one will acknowledge it, that like mom cooked every single night this week and how much work that is, or mom did the dishes every night, or mom cleaned, and like no one even pays attention to it. And I feel like this is about kind of like calling it out and saying like, I did this, this, this. And if you don't notice it, then maybe I should stop doing this much work for you, you know? So I don't know. There's some energy coming through of reclaiming what's really yours and calling out situations where you haven't felt appreciated and where maybe someone has just expected you to continue doing what you're doing and just, you know, kind of like been demanding that and like not really putting anything back in. Let's get some more cards for you. Pile number 1. Let's get some tarot. We got the 2 of Pentacles. That's an interesting card because the 2 of Pentacles literally shows someone balancing 2 pentacles. And so it can show, you know, situations where you kind of have to take stock of like, what have I been doing and what has this person been doing? I've actually been thinking on that a lot with the sign of Libra, the symbol for Libra, and the fact that Libra represents the 7th house and like the Justice card. It connects with Libra and tarot and kind of how that relates to each other. And I've been meditating on that about how Libra, you know, and Libra sometimes gets a bad rap because like they can be overly compromising and they can kind of sometimes not advocate for themselves or just kind of like be passive aggressive because they want something, but they're not willing to ask for it. And people can kind of laugh about that, like, oh, Libras with their passive aggression. But I was just thinking about how really there's so much power in the Libra balance. And that's why I think Libras want that balance, is because truly like the best relationships, and of course Libra is the house of relationships, it rules the 7th house. It in the best relationships, it's balance. It's both sides. It's kind of like equals coming together. It's not one side overdoing. It's not that Aries independent, like I'll just do it myself. It's both sides working together. And then kind of that equal balance of I can trust you, you can trust me. And I think that's why sometimes Libras still go for that and they try to keep things balanced and calm, even when you're like, bro, you need to call this situation out or this is so unfair. But it's because at the end of the day, that's what they're wishing and hoping, and that's really their end goal. And it really is a very deep understanding of how relationships work. So anyway, how that relates to you guys is I just feel like you need to know that you deserve that balance. You need to know that you deserve someone that is going to make sure that they're giving as much to you as you're giving to them. And with the 2 of Pentacles, it may be taking stock of it. Like Teal Swan has a great video about being kind of like nitpicking in relationships and how, you know, there's a lot of, I forget the word she uses, but it's basically like counting up and paying a lot of attention to like, okay, I did this for you and you did that. And people can really like give that a lot of flack. Like they'll say, you know, okay, in relationships, you shouldn't be keeping track. So if you do the chores one day, that's fine. But if the other person does another chore another day, that's fine. And if they do more chores than you and then you do more chores than them, that's just how relationships work. But Teal Swan was pointing out that like a lot of times it's women who hold that burden and women who end up like overextending themselves and then burning themselves out because it's like they do and they do and they do and they do and they don't pay attention to like how much they get back. And I think that's probably also why women file for so many more divorces than men do, because they reach a point where they're just like, I feel so taken advantage of. I feel so unappreciated. And I just feel like for you, whatever situation this is, whether you're a woman, a man, you know, this is about really taking stock in a situation, because I know workplaces do this a lot. They just expect their employees to give. Families do this. They just expect some, you know, family member to just like take care of everyone, help everyone. But it's almost like, and you see this so much with Libra, they will hold it inside. Libras will like bury their feelings. This is why Mars is in fall in Libra. It's because they will bury their feelings, they will obscure them, they'll pretend it's not happening, they'll ignore them, and then oftentimes it'll come out in an explosion, or they'll just leave a situation, they'll be passive aggressive, and it can be really destructive. And it's almost like an art to realize that, hey, this doesn't have to be the end of the relationship. Maybe this is fixable if I advocate for myself, if I'm willing to admit. And sometimes it may just be the end of a situation. It may be a time to leave a situation behind and just say goodbye. I feel like for you guys, yeah, this could be for some of you guys, I'm not gonna lie, like a breakup or an ending. We got the 10 of Swords, we got the Hermit card, going on things alone, or just being brave enough to like admit a situation. I think that's half the battle sometimes, admitting what's going on instead of lying to yourself and saying like, no, it's fine, I'm good, whatever, but kind of like admitting like, I'm really unhappy, you know? We also got the Five of Wands. Yeah, this could be about being willing to take on some conflict, being willing to admit, being willing to call it out, being willing to say what's going on, no longer deluding yourself, no longer lying, and being willing to kind of face it head on. So some of you guys, I feel like you're leaving behind an old situation where you were maybe just taken for granted or expected to do so much and overextend yourself, and kind of stepping into a situation where you are going to be called to be much more honest. And really also though, there's an opportunity with this Knight of Cups to like find some interests, find some hobbies, spend more time on yourself, spend more time doing the things you love, and really taking stock of like, how much energy am I giving to these other situations? How much am I allowing myself to be drained or abandoning my own hopes, dreams, goals, ambitions, loves, the things I enjoy, the things that fuel me in order to make this situation work, or in order to make someone else happy. Let me get into some of these message cards for you. Pile number 1. So we got, oh, 2 cards. The Cosmic Heart, Devotion, Potency. Make your life a moving prayer. Then we got, I Remember, Soul Plans, the Fated Life versus the Destiny Life. Empathetic Starseed, Energetic Sovereignty, Absorbing what's not yours. And let's get one final card. The Void, Stop, Embrace Winter, Great Cosmic Womb. Now, y'all know I love this card because I love winter. I always say I'm a winter girl. My whole chart is mostly winter and a little bit of spring, so I just love winter. And I think there's so much wisdom in winter and embracing winter. So many people are afraid of winter. So many people talk down on winter. Like when people are talking about seasons, most of the time they're like, oh, I love summer, spring, fall, but winter doesn't get a lot of recognition for its beauty. And I honestly think that for you guys, this is about, I think people are afraid of winter because they hate that absence. They hate the quiet, the stillness, the fact that nothing is happening, the cold. And yet I always point out that like when you see places that have the most growth, when you see places that have, you know, the most vegetation or are so conducive, like if you've ever been on the East Coast of the US in summertime, you know, like the corn is so good. The tomatoes are so good. The tomatoes are freaking amazing in like New Jersey and stuff. And honestly, it's like you only get that when you have that harsh winter, when you have the rain, the cold, the snow. That's when you can kind of make those miracles happen. And I feel like, you know, there's so much wisdom to be found in embracing winter instead of running away from it, embracing endings, embracing the lack, embracing the absence or the pause in your life, because sometimes we want our life to be this perpetual summer with endless growth and everything's just going awesome and everything's happening and everything's beautiful and bright and sunny and fun. And the reality is that that isn't always the best for our own growth cycles. Sometimes we have to stop a situation. Sometimes we have to extricate ourselves. Sometimes we have to admit it, that this isn't working and call a spade a spade. Sometimes we have to put our foot down and just remove ourselves. And sometimes we also have to remember who we are, you know, who we are as a soul, what our mission is and what we deserve in life. Sometimes we have to remember our own power. So I feel like for you guys, what I'm getting, I'm not saying if you're like in a relationship, I'm not saying dump them and divorce them. Like sometimes it's hard and you have to take pauses in relationships. Sometimes it's like, no, this is time for it to end. But I feel like for you guys, whatever this situation is, really it's about finding your worth and realizing situations in which you've been compromising yourself or kind of like putting yourself last or using your own power to benefit someone else and taking that energy back and using that energy to fuel yourself, and really like directing your power and being thoughtful about it and making sure that the people that are in your life really and truly recognize your value and recognize who you are. Because pile 1, you guys are such amazing givers and I can feel that so deep. You are such a giver, and it's almost like this also might be about when it comes to your career or whatever in life, realizing everything you do so you can get that recognition. Because sometimes also like you can see someone and they're doing so much and they're working so hard and they're doing such an amazing job, but because they don't believe they deserve more, they'll just stay stagnant. Like I was just talking about this with my boyfriend where we went to this amazing restaurant and it was so freaking good. And we were the only people in the restaurant. And the chef came out and like talked to us and was like so nice. He was so nice. And the food was amazing. And we had just left this like crowded restaurant like the other day. It was the day before. And so when we left that crowded restaurant, like there was like not a seat left in the place and it was so booked, so busy, and the food was so mid. And I said to him, you know, I don't know, there's something, maybe this is the melancholic water sign in me, but I was like, there's something so sad about the fact that this place was like completely empty. It's like some of the best food I've had in such a long time. The chef is so nice, so talented, and all the tables are empty. And then meanwhile, the day before, we go to this overpriced, hypey place full of people. Everyone's like there. It's like a big scene. And then that one has like the worst food. Maybe not the worst, but not very good food. And I was like, there's something, I don't know, like to me, it just really struck me, like the kind of the unfairness of it. But maybe that guy, that chef, maybe he has a resonance in his energy field of like, I'm not really worth it. So I'll just keep cooking here in silence and I'll just wait for one customer and be so grateful to them. Maybe if he had a little bit more of an entitled attitude, even though people talk down about entitlement, but sometimes entitlement can be a good thing. Telling yourself, I deserve that. Of course I deserve it. I should have it. Why shouldn't it be me? Of course, I should have people complimenting my food. I should have this place stacked door to door. And so sometimes it's about interrogating our own mindset. Do I have a scarcity mindset? Do I not believe I deserve it? Am I thinking this treatment is just like, yeah, it's okay. This is just what happens. And then changing that, shifting that mentality so your reality can shift, claiming your power and realizing your own self-worth. So that is what I have for you, pile one. I really hope it resonates, guys. Thanks so much for watching. If you want to see more of my content, head to my Patreon. I have over 80 readings there about so many different subjects. I think maybe 90 readings, but there are so many extra readings. I just posted one all about your soulmate and when they're coming in, the timeline, what they're up to. But there's every reading under the sun you could imagine over there. So much content. And you also get early and ad-free access to all my YouTube videos. So if that sounds good to you and you're interested in signing up, head on over to my Patreon. A link for that is underneath the timestamps in the comments and the description. So I am sending you so much love and light, guys. I will see you. Oh, and if you want to book a private reading with me, you can do that at my website, briarrosetarot.com. Link for that is also in my description. So thanks for watching, guys. I'm sending you lots of love and light, and I will see you again very soon in another reading. Take care, guys. Bye. Hey, pile two, welcome to your reading. Let's get into your cards. You guys got the Prince of Swords, the Seven of Pentacles, Two of Wands, Princess of Cups, aka the Page of Cups, and the Ten of Swords. So what is coming through this month for you guys is a lot of recognition. This could be some professional recognition. This could be you getting like an award at work or a promotion, or people just seeing you in a new light and in a new way they haven't before. It could even be in your personal life, like maybe a family member saying like, wow, I can't believe you got that award at school, or you're doing so well, or kind of giving you that pat on the back that I feel like has been a long time coming, and it's almost like you've been waiting for it, or you've been hoping for it, or you've wanted your efforts to be recognized, and I feel like finally they are getting some recognition and people are paying attention to you in a new way. Like, your name is being noticed, and I feel like there is a lot of chatter about you as well. There's people noticing you, possibly people talking about you, and people like appreciating you in a new way with that Princess of Cups as well. Like even possibly recognizing, I'm hearing for some of you guys, like your sense of style or the way you dress. Like there's something about almost like you guys marching to the beat of your own drum, or being very independent, or kind of doing something on your own. Like maybe something that you never thought was going to pay off, or maybe something that you didn't really have a plan of like, oh, this will get me attention, but it does. Like almost like that person at work that they've been just bringing in coffee every few days for the office, but they just kind of thought, well, no one's really noticed, no one's thanked me, but I'm just going to keep doing it. It's a nice thing to do. And finally, like the boss says, by the way, like, thank you so much for bringing coffee. And like, I've noticed that, I've seen that every day. And I know I've been kind of busy. I haven't brought it up before, but I just wanted to pull you aside and say thanks. It's really improved the morale, and almost like finally getting that credit, or someone that has been, really trudging away at something for a long time and kind of like doing a lot, and maybe it just flew under the radar, and this is their moment to step into the spotlight and to have people pay attention. So if there's been something you've really been working at and really been like trying to make happen, I feel like this could be the month that you see that recognition come down, and you see people start talking about it and start noticing it. And it may happen quickly as well, because the Prince of Swords is a very fast moving energy. Also, the Prince of Swords, aka the Knight of Swords, is really great at communication, really great at talking. So you guys might be very charismatic this month. And if you have any kind of career that involves talking, whether that's you're like a marketing manager, or you do PR, or you just have to talk a lot at your job, or you do public relations, or you do customer service, or YouTube, or whatever, you may be being noticed for that and for the way you communicate and for your communication style. You may find it really easy to find your words or to say what you want to say this month. This could also be an amazing month for you if you're writing a book, or if you're wanting to like apply for a school, or anything that has to do with kind of that Mercury communication, Gemini, Virgo energy. I feel like you're really going to excel at that. You might really find this to be a great month for you to have difficult discussions, or to bring up something that has been a long time coming. Like if you want to schedule a meeting with your boss, July could be an excellent time to have that talk about like, I need an increase in salary, I deserve an increase in salary. And I feel like it's like you're great at advocating yourself. It could also advocating for yourself. It also could be a great month for you socially, and you might find yourself very much in a social mix and having a lot of people inviting you to things, or offering or extending invitations for you. I feel like there's like a lot of glamour around you this month, pile number 2. Like it's almost like people are perceiving you as well as being a lot of fun. So they may invite you to more social events or social occasions, or they may just be talking about you a lot more. You may find that people are mentioning you when it comes to your social group. Like even if you're not getting the invitation, you might have people in your social circle who are like pulling up your Instagram and being like, look how she's dressing, that's so cool. Or look what she's doing, that's so cool. I can't believe she traveled there. Or I can't believe she did this, like, I love how she looks in this picture. Like there's almost a vibe of you being a little bit of an inspiration for people this month. And like, again, people kind of finally recognizing you. And you might be super creative, because we have a lot of creative energy. We have the Prince of Swords, Knight of Swords, and the Princess of Cups, Page of Cups. So those are two highly, the Knight of Swords, the Page of Cups are both extremely creative in different ways. One in an air way, which is kind of like intellectual, and how we formulate words and formulate sentences and convey things effectively so that they make sense. And then Cups is kind of more unconscious and kind of intuitive and kind of very creative and can come out of left field. So when you combine them, and you kind of combine that air energy and that water energy, that intuitive, kind of like dreamy, maybe it doesn't make a lot of sense in the physical world vibe, and then you combine it with the air energy that's so great at like putting words together and is very creative in a kind of more abstract, or I don't know, like wordy type of way, and can really come up with like a very well thought out, story or something, and really be able to put that into words. You really are unstoppable. And so you guys might be highly creative and just very on point. One thing that's coming through is some of you guys might be really going through transformations with your physical appearance or how you dress yourself. And if you're getting intuitions of like, oh, I want to change my outfit, or I want to change how I look, cut my hair, or dress differently, or dye my hair, or whatever, I feel like you should definitely trust those intuitions, and you should trust the kind of call you're getting of like, yeah, I should do that. Like that would be really cool if I dress that way, or that would be cool if I change my aesthetic. Yeah, I feel like there's also probably going to be a lot of fun opportunity, possibly for some of you guys to go on vacation, which I know like it's July. So a lot of people go on vacation in the summer. Although I like vacationing in winter and fall, my favorite time. But I always think more people should travel then, because like everything's so busy in the summer. And if it's like, if you get vacation time off any year, any time of year, I'd much rather travel in winter or fall when there's like no crowds than in like the height of July when like everything's packed. But that's just me. Of course, you know, sometimes you can't control it. I'm just saying, I'm an advocate for traveling in winter and fall. But I feel like a lot of you guys might be traveling, and a lot of people obviously travel in July. It just feels like this is a really fun time for you. It feels like this is a time when you almost get to pause and see your efforts pay off, or you get to kind of like explore and broaden your horizons a little bit. There's also that Two of Wands energy that you guys might be doing a lot of planning. And I feel like for you, this is about an intellectual like learning. Like if you're going to travel somewhere, you might not just, you know, lounge around in your hotel room the whole time, even though that's always such a fun way to travel. I think the lazy Cancer moon in me, I just love to like lounge on a hotel bed. But you guys might be like, if you're traveling, you're going to sign up for like a local cooking class, or you're going to go bungee jumping, or you're going to learn how to wakeboard. Like I feel like it's almost like not even the bungee jumping thing, but it's something you're learning, or you're taking a local pottery class, or you're taking a local like ceramic, learning how to make like the local tiles, or you're, you know, educating yourself and taking a tour on like the local history. There's a vibe about something that you're really like embracing it head on, and not just like existing, but really like taking the reins. And like I said, there's an intellectual curiosity around you for the month of July. I feel like this is a great month to educate yourself, even to sign up for higher learning, or to take a course, or, you know, learn about a hobby, or sign up to go back to school. It's like your mind is really very turned on and alert in the month of July. And you might also find it's a great month for conversation. And it's a great month for making friends, talking to people, and people just want to talk to you in public as well. It's a great month for getting work done. Like I said, if you're writing something, if you have any career that involves communication, great month for that. Let's get some more cards for you. Pile number 2 for the month of July. We want to know what's going to be happening for pile number 2. Animal totems, animal energy and powers. Mindfulness, peaceful presence, quiet mind. Archangel Raziel, wisdom, inspiration, Akashic records. Your eternal spirit, higher self, sacred intuition. And, oh, you guys got 2. Phase entanglement, emotional influence. And this one is sensitivity and strength, tapping the forces within. So this could also be about like harnessing your spiritual abilities additionally, because I feel like you guys are very spiritually aware, and there's really this energy of growth around you, learning and refining your skills and getting better at something. Like I feel like for a lot of you guys, this is about like learning to really take a step back and learning to really almost like do something differently. You know what I mean? Like there may be something that you've been doing for a long time and you've been like progressing on it, and you keep doing it the same way and it's working, but it's almost like you tweak something or you learn to do something a little bit different. And then you're like, oh my God, this is so much easier. This is so much better. It's almost reminding me of one of those cooking hacks where they'll tell you like, oh, you don't need to chop tomatoes like this. Just do blah, 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 blah. And it's so much easier. And then you're like, okay, let me try this. And you try it and you're like, oh my God, why haven't I been doing this? Or, oh, add a pinch of salt or add this and it will just make your sauce so much better. And you try it and you're like, oh my God, I'm always going to cook this way. It's reminding me of something like that. So I feel like for you guys, this is almost like learning a hack or learning something, and especially with your spirituality, like this is, I feel like, really getting more powerful in your spirituality. For some of you guys, this could be like taking a Reiki course, getting Reiki certified, getting a Reiki attunement, learning meditation, learning more in yoga, learning more in your cards or in tarot cards or whatever. But I feel like this is really about like learning the power of your own mind, learning how powerful your mentality is to shape outcomes as well. And also for you guys, I'm hearing some of you guys have been working on manifesting and living more in the present moment. So I feel like Spirit also wants to give you just that kudos. And maybe that was that energy of like a pat on the back that I kept getting towards you guys, where this could be also just learning or recognizing for yourself, like, I'm doing pretty good. I've really done a really good job. I feel like this is kind of about like taking that step back and admiring your work. Like, I'm seeing someone who's painting and they're pulling back from the canvas and looking at it. Like, I've done this because I used to paint a lot in high school. I was in a very intensive painting course. And anyway, a lot of times when you're like really up close trying to get the details right on a painting, you don't really see it. Like, you're kind of like, oh, that looks wonky, or that looks weird, or the light on that is bad, or the color's bad. And then maybe someone else comes up to you and they say, wow, like, that's really good. Or like, oh, I love how you shaded that. And then it's almost like you might pull back and realize, oh yeah, I did like cohesively the whole painting together. Even if that light on that vase is a little weird, looking back at the whole painting, it all really works well. And almost like admiring, like, yeah, I have done a good job. And it's almost like sometimes when you're so absorbed in the situation, you kind of can't see the forest for the trees, or you can't really see how good you're doing, and you can't really appreciate like how much work you have done. I feel like for a lot of you guys, this is about, again, like tweaking something, getting better, being willing to embrace. Because I also am hearing a message for some of you guys of like not being afraid to admit where there's room you can improve. So it's like, sometimes I think too, whenever we're doing something, we can get prideful about it. Like, I know there's times when someone has said, like, I know one example for that for me, just calling myself out, is like maybe a year ago, my microphone broke. And instead of just buying a new one, I ended up just being like, oh, I have to film a reading today. I'll use my headphones, or my, like little Apple, I don't know what they're called, earbuds, but I knew not to use the AirPods that like are wireless, but the one with the wire, because that has a microphone. So I would use that. And then I kind of got used to it. And then I started thinking, yeah, like this is fine. And it works okay. And like, this is great. And I kind of was like sensitive about that. But I remember I showed a video of mine unedited and stuff to one of my friends because they were really curious. And I was like, okay, here it is. I haven't like put it together yet, but here it is. And the first thing they mentioned was like, but the audio's off. And I was like kind of offended. Like, I'm like, well, okay, but the video's good. But it was a call out I needed. And that was finally what prompted me to like be like, okay, let me go ahead and finally buy another microphone. I'm not saying my audio is perfect, by the way. I know sometimes it doesn't sound amazing, but my point is sometimes you need that other person to point out. And even though it may not feel the best and you're like, well, excuse me, like I thought it was a pretty good reading and I worked hard on it or whatever. Sometimes it's about acknowledging like, yeah, you do have a valid point and the audio was off and I was using just a stupid pair of headphones, which in retrospect, I'm like, why did I even think that would be like, good enough? Like now when I look back to those readings, I'm like, I can hear that the audio is way worse. And so it's one of those things where I wish I'd addressed it earlier and it was such an easy fix. And so much of the time we do stuff like that. We just kind of like get into a routine or we just think, yeah, this is fine. This is working. And sometimes it's about being willing to confront, what can I do differently? How can I improve this? And how can I like actually embrace kind of the hard work of getting better at something? Sometimes we think, yeah, like I'm doing fine. And how dare you criticize me? Or I shouldn't have to feel bad about this. I'm working really hard. And we can get into like almost an ego mindset. And it's really important to sometimes kind of check ourselves and be like, yeah, I am working hard and giving myself a pat on the back for that, but maybe I can improve or tweak this, and being open to that improvement or that feedback that spirit gives you. Let me get into some tarot cards for you. Pile number 2. What tarot cards are we going to get for pile number 2? Okay, so we got the Ace of Wands, the Emperor, 10 of Wands, the Six of Cups. I feel like there could definitely be a lot of room for celebration. And as I say that, we pulled the Four of Wands. We got the Six of Cups, Four of Wands coming out. This could definitely be like a fun month for you guys where you're invited to a party or a wedding or a vacation, or there's some kind of major celebration happening for you. And again, I get that vibe that also there's something paying off in your career, or there's some kind of validation you get, or people noticing you, or forward momentum. Spirit also has a message for you about really celebrating the small stuff, that attitude of gratitude, that energy of like accomplishment, that energy of patting yourself on the back and being like, oh, I'm doing so good, will magnify on itself and will kind of multiply. And the more you nitpick, or the more you're like, oh, I'm not doing as well as I could, or like this should be better, or oh, that was messed up, you know, the more you're kind of pushing that energy away. So sometimes we think, well, I'm not going to celebrate it until I accomplish this, or I'm not going to do anything until this happens, or I'm not happy and I'm not satisfied. So, you know, I'm not going to be in a good mood. But sometimes it's about being like, no, I did so good, gassing yourself up, celebrating yourself. And then that energy kind of like pulsating and manifesting and turning into this beautiful spiraling ball of like more gratitude and more happiness and more joy and more achievement. So sometimes it's being willing to take that step back and like have that moment to celebrate. Like, yeah, maybe you do feel stressed at work and maybe it is hard for you to find time to take off or go on vacation or whatever. But sometimes that can be the most important thing, is to actually take that time off or go out to dinner with a friend, or you know, relax a little bit and pull back your energy into that celebratory vibe so that you can have that energy around you. And that might be the day that you get that promotion that you've been working so hard for, the day when you finally take off work early and go out and have a, you know, beer with your friends and like chill and relax, because suddenly that energy is like released and it's powerful and it's joyful and it's happy and it's radiant and it's sun energy. And that's when we find that success. So yeah, I also feel like this could be a great month for you to meet people romantically. And for those of you guys who are single, I'm hearing that you could be out and about and very flirty. And if you're in a relationship, this might just be a really fun month with your partner where you are like going out, dating. There's a fun, sexy, exciting vibe between you guys, and you guys are very much drawn together and the relationship is going well, and there might be a lot of time to celebrate. But if you are single, this could be that time when you are out and about and everyone's noticing you, your name is on everyone's lips, people are like, who's that? Oh my gosh, they're really cute. And it could be a really great month for you to flirt. And I'm hearing almost a vibe of like not taking things so serious. So if you have been like, oh, I'm dating for marriage, blah, 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 I'm not telling anyone what to do or what expectations they could have, but I will say, I think in the right energy with the right person, like even if you approach it casually, it will turn into something serious. So you might as well, like, you don't need to have a super serious energy while dating, because sometimes that energy, again, like I said, sometimes it's stepping into the fun, celebratory energy that brings in what we want. And the more we're like, I'm serious and I'm working and I'm pushing it, the more that energy flows away from us. So I would say for you guys, this is almost an energy of like not taking things so serious, not being so studious or so like, okay, I have my bullet list of like points, bullet points of what I want, but just kind of like, okay, I'll go on that date and I'll have fun. Or yeah, I'll say yes to that. And you know what? I'll go out and I'll have a great time. Or I'll go out with my friends and I'll dance on the table, whatever. And not like feeling like you have to like be so serious and so intense and over the top about things. And almost like claiming your power with the Emperor card, because again, Spirit is saying you've already achieved a lot, and this is kind of just about giving yourself that recognition and not doing that 10 of Wands things where we continue to just push and push and push, but like pull back and celebrate, and maybe that energy will bring in more accomplishment for you. Let's get some of these cards for you. Pile number 2. What messages do you have for pile 2 for the month of July? What messages do you have for pile 2 for the month of July? So we got karmic relationships, onion energy, polarity, soul growth, conflict. Okay. Double mission, light worker, starseed, serve the world by being you. Star ancestors, hidden secrets, lost wisdom, look a little deeper. And the 7 star sisters, birth and creations, tapestry of life, expression. Wow, so much star energy coming through. So maybe a lot of you guys in this pile are star seeds, and this is about getting more in touch with that. This could be a great month to do a meditation where you tap into your past, where you tap into past lives. And Spirit is telling me something about some of you guys having like a gift or a talent that directly connects to something you did in a past life. So it's almost like something that you're preternaturally good at, or you're like, everyone is like, oh my God, like, wait a minute, did you learn to do this before? Or how are you so good at this? And you're telling me you've really never done blah, blah, blah before. And you're like, yeah. And it's something that I feel like you did in past lives. And so that's why it comes so naturally to you. And almost like if you were to meditate on it, you'd be like, oh, that makes so much sense. I also feel like for you guys, this is about realizing that sometimes the more self-care you do, the more you pour back into yourself and give to yourself, the more energy you direct towards yourself, the more you allow yourself to relax, have fun, enjoy, sit back and receive, the more others will benefit as well, because you, when you're at your best and are shining so brightly and are feeling so aligned and pampered and beautiful and happy, the more you're able to give to others. And the more like you keep burning out and giving and over giving yourself, the more you're depleted. And people might even resent you for that. That's the funny thing, right? Sometimes a guy will like have a wife and he's like, oh, you don't dress sexy for me anymore. And it's like, yeah, of course she doesn't, because she's like constantly vacuuming and having to freaking do all this housework. Like, why would she look sexy? She's like barely functioning to get through the day because she has like a pile of dishes to do and vacuuming and mopping, and she's like completely overwhelmed. Why would she ever look sexy like when she's in this state? And sometimes it's like realizing that the only one who can really advocate for yourself is you, and that the more you actually pour back into yourself and have a little bit of that selfish energy where you're like, I'm going to do what feels good to me, the more others around you might really appreciate that and be like, wow, you know what? I feel this resonance. I feel how joyful you are. I feel how happy and aligned you are. And it makes me want to give more to you. And it makes me so joyful to receive that and be around that and just bathe into your energy. Because it's almost like that phrase, you know, back to that example of that guy that's like, you're not dressing sexy for me, to their wife. But there's that phrase of like, when mama ain't happy, nobody's happy. And I truly think a lot of women radiate out an energy that affects everyone in the family. So sometimes a mom might think, oh, I'm just going to overgive and overgive and overgive, and I'm going to do this for everyone, not realizing that if she was actually to like fully enjoy, pamper herself, make herself happy first and foremost, obviously not in a selfish or like narcissistic, like, oh, the kids don't have food, but at least I got my nails done type of way. But if she was to really look after her emotional self, maybe everyone in the family would be so much happier than if she just like, you know, like repainted spent her weekend repainting the outside of the house, and she was like frustrated and annoyed. And if she actually just was like, I'm going to hire someone to do that, and then she like had a fun weekend, like playing with her kids and laying in and maybe doing a spa day, maybe she'd be much more in alignment, and that energy would radiate out as like making everyone else in the family so much happier than they will be because like, oh, the house is repainted. You know what I mean? Obviously, I know that's easier said than done, and people have financial constraints. I'm not trying to shame anyone who's like a mom and make them feel bad about how they're, you know, parenting or whatever. But yeah, I think sometimes you got to put that energy into yourself so that everyone around you can feel your beautiful resonance and you shining so bright as an energy as well. But that is what I have for you, pile number 2. I really hope that resonates. If it does, let me know in the comments. I love hearing from you guys. And if you want to see more of my content, head on over to my Patreon. There are over 80 or maybe 90, I can't remember exactly, but there's so many readings over there, additional readings. I just posted a reading all about your soulmate and special person, when they're coming in the timeline, what they're up to, what it's going to be like for you guys, what they're like, lots of details and information on that. You also get early and ad-free access to all my YouTube videos. So there's a lot of content, there's a lot of bonuses. You guys also get to vote and suggest on new topics. If that sounds good to you and you want to sign up, head to the link underneath the timestamps in the comments in the description and join me on Patreon. Also, if you would like to book a private session with me, you can do that at my website, briarrosetarot.com. So thank you so much for watching, guys. I'm sending you so much love and light, and I will see you again very, very soon in another reading. Take care, guys. Bye. Hey, pile 3, welcome to your reading. So you guys got the High Priest, aka the Hierophant, the Prince of Wands, aka the Knight of Wands, the Ace of Pentacles, Three of Pentacles, and the King of Cups. So there's a lot of energy coming through in your reading. I feel like the month of July is going to be a very energetic month. You guys may find you literally have extra energy around you. Some of you guys might be doing a new workout routine, picking up on a health routine. And I feel like one thing is you're going to be feeling really good. If you're in a relationship, I'm hearing things are really going swimmingly about that. And there may be some really intense discussions you're having about long-term planning or about certain goals. And it feels like this is a month when it's almost like we're coming together and we're really finding that peace or that commonality that you want in relationships. Like we're having those discussions and we're really seeing eye to eye, or we're really on the same page. And it's almost like getting the fun of that. Like, you know what I mean? Like when a newlywed couple moves in together and they start planning, like, okay, so we're going to decorate the house this way. And like how much fun that is to plan out and to hash out. But whatever is going on, whether you're single, whether you're taken, I feel like this is a great month for you. Some of you guys are maybe moving or planning a move. There may be new opportunities. If you guys have been out of a job for a while, this could be a great month for you to apply for jobs or to find a job. You might be getting a job opportunity, and Spirit is saying for you to really put yourself out there with a lot of energy. Like if you go into a job interview, do it with panache. Make sure you're dressed up when you go. Obviously, that's kind of like common sense, but I feel like this month, your energy is such an asset to you. Like people are going to be able to sense your energy from a mile away, and you're going to come off like, it's kind of bringing to mind, I know this is funny or kind of stupid, but like it reminds me of how like Donald Trump would insult everyone by saying like they're low energy or something. And it's like you're the opposite. So he wouldn't be insulting you, you know, you are like high energy, okay? You would be like that person that you walk into a room and people can sense it and they're like, ooh, this person is powerful. Not to be like political at all. I'm just saying like it's kind of a funny thing, right? To think about in retrospect. And you just are coming off so high energy. You're just coming across like you are just full of power. So this would be a great month for you to make those goals of I want to accomplish this. This might be a great month for you to make a list of like, this is the thing I want to accomplish. This is the thing I want to do, and kind of like start undertaking it. Like I feel like this is a great month to set a resolution when it comes to your health, or to make a commitment to yourself that like, if I have been applying for jobs and it hasn't been working out, I'm going to apply for like twice as much this month, or I'm going to really push myself for that interview and really keep emailing them until they respond. You know what I mean? It's almost like there's an energy around you of your will being very powerful this month and using that to your advantage. So not allowing yourself to be easily dissuaded, or not being like, oh, well, they said no, so I'll just listen to that and I'll just show myself out, but really like being like, I want it, I'm going for it. And almost like an energy of realizing how powerful your own desires are, and realizing how powerful your own intentions are, your own needs are. Like I think, you know, Abraham Hicks talks about this a lot, like the arrow of desire. And that always brings to mind to me Sagittarius energy. And Sagittarius is known to be one of the luckiest, if not the luckiest astrology sign. It's ruled by Jupiter, the ultimate benefic, and Sagittarians are known like they always have these projects. They always are like doing something new. They're always setting a new goal and going after it, and they do it in such an energetic way since they are a fire sign. That kind of separates them from the other Jupiter co-ruled sign that's also very lucky, Pisces. But Pisces tends to drift, go with the flow. They're a water sign, they're more chill, whereas Sagittarius really sets a goal and goes after it and makes it happen. And that's why they're so powerful, like at doing things and making things happen. And they are ruling the planet, or the house of higher education and of travel, because no one can take on that energy and just get into college or plan a trip the way a Sagittarius can, or like land in a new country and not speak a word of the language and make it to the hotel okay and find the best restaurant. Like Sagittarius has this optimism and this power and this force, life force energy to them that makes them able to accomplish so much. And I feel like that Spirit is sending you a message that like tapping into that energy is going to be so powerful for you. And there's also a message for some of you guys, again, really around health this month, paying more attention to your health. I'm hearing for some of you guys, if you have been feeling slow or sluggish, or you haven't been feeling 100%, or you haven't been feeling like your best, most energetic vibes, there's a message about being really careful about what you eat and being very like conscientious and deliberate. Like I think, you know, it's always funny to me as someone who has moon in the 6th house, I eat pretty healthy because I find my mood, and I know this is such a moon in the 6th house thing, so not everyone has this same problem, but I find my mood is so affected by like if I'm eating junk food. I can do that for like a meal or like a snack, but I can't do it for like 2 days in a row. Like I will be miserable and I'll be like depressed and upset. And it amazes me sometimes when you see people's like daily diet, not to be judgmental, but when they're eating like all junk food, I'm just like, how? Because I always turn into so grumpy. I feel bad. I feel sluggish. And then as soon as I'm back eating like relatively healthy and organic, I always feel like so much better. Again, I'm sure that's moon in the 6th house really bumping it up. That's making it more intense, and not everyone has that they have to worry about. But I do feel like This could really be taking stock of your diet and being like, oh, I could tweak that. Or maybe I feel better when I eat this way. And really like holding yourself accountable or really embracing this new stage in health. Could even be taking on a new exercise routine or being more physically active. But I feel like you're doing something to kind of like really change your health or make your health a lot better in a way that maybe in the past you were like, whatever, like I'll just eat what I want, or I'm just going to kind of neglect this. And this is almost like taking those reins and really realizing your own authority in like choosing what you eat and choosing what you don't want to eat. For some of you guys, I'm hearing you could be invited to something really special. You could be getting an invitation to like a social event, or again, it could be with a career, getting an invitation, getting an reaching out from like an HR department or a hiring department being like, hey, would you consider working for this company? But I feel like there's an invitation coming in that's going to be really exciting for you. And it's almost like just exactly what you want to hear, or something that there's so many opportunities and doors that want to open up to you as a result of this. Spirit is also saying for some of you guys, like not to be afraid to really embrace yourself and to show yourself off. For some of you guys, this could be being more like deliberate and open about like posting on social media and not holding yourself back, not editing yourself. I think sometimes even when someone posts on social media, and of course we all do this, but it can be very edited or filtered, or there's a fear of like, yeah, but if I'm fully honest or I say what's really on my mind, like people are going to judge me, or they're going to think I'm lame, or they're going to think I'm cringe. So let me just show this very edited version of myself. And this could also be about just being 100% this is who I am, and being less of a filter. I actually think that's something that really works well about YouTube, like the fact that you have to be on a regular posting schedule. And this is why I've told people, like, I think it can be a really good self-growth thing to do TikTok, to do YouTube, because it's almost like the normal, like lack of self-confidence or like self-criticism that turns on when you have so much time to overthink a situation. When you're like, oh, should I make this Instagram post? I haven't posted on Instagram in months. Oh, that's off. That's lame. If I post that, and like you have this inner critic that turns on. And when you're just forced to post all the time, when you have like, okay, it's been 3 days, I got to post on YouTube, or it's been a week and I got to post on TikTok, or I have to post, you don't have as much time to like edit yourself and freak out and like get nervous, and you just have to like go for it. And I actually think that can really be so empowering and help you grow so much, and just let you realize that like most of the time it's not that serious. No one's even noticing you. No one cares about you in a good way. Like, people just want sometimes just to see whatever you're up to or hear from you. They're not going to be like judging you that much. They don't care that much. So you might as well just go for it. And I feel like there's an energy of that coming through where like you are being told not to be so harsh on yourself, and just to be open and just to trust the process, and to trust what you're bringing out, that like, yes, you are bringing something special. Yes, you do have something creative and amazing. So trust that. Let's get some more cards. Oh, that's too soon. We're not pulling those yet. Okay, hold on. We're pulling this deck. What messages do we have for pile number 3 for the month of July? What messages do we have for pile 3 for the month of July? So we got personal guide, guardian angel, spirit family, phase entanglement, emotional influence, ascended masters, devoted spirits with specific intentions, soulful appreciation, heartfelt gratitude. And let's get one more for pile number 3. This one says currents of emotion, uncontrolled feelings. So I feel like for you guys, this is also a message about really enjoying and taking advantage of the month of July. And if you've been debating like going on a vacation or taking a little bit of time off, really embracing that and really kind of making the most of your time. I'm also hearing a message that for some of you guys, this is almost like having a weekend off or having a little bit of a break, but not using it, or not using your paid time off, or just kind of like pushing yourself to work harder than you almost need to. And almost like that message that like life is short, so make the most of it. Could even be as simple as like after work, making sure you actually go for a walk around, your neighborhood. Or I think sometimes I am very, like, I can be a very lazy water sign, Pisces sun, Cancer moon, and just want to like lounge around in bed and just be like, no, it's fine. I won't go anywhere. And I find that like when someone drags me out of bed, as much as I get annoyed and being like, I don't want to wake up at 7 a.m. and go see the sunrise and blah, blah, blah. Like, and I can be like, why am I doing this? Or I don't want to go out of bed. It's like Friday night. I'm tired. I just want to sleep. And if I actually force myself of like, okay, I'm going to go meet up with my friends, or I'm going to wake up to see the sunrise, or I'm going to go see this part of town, or I'm going to try this new restaurant, go out of my comfort zone and just the usual restaurants I go to, I always get something out of the experience, and I'm always so happy I did it. And I feel like that's probably the case for all of us. Like most of the time when you do wake up early to go watch the sunset, as much as you may have been tired and grumpy getting out of bed, and of course sleep is important. So if you're like going on 4 hours of sleep, it's probably just better miss the sunset and like get some extra sleep. But for those of us who are like, oh, I got enough sleep, but I just want to chill, I don't want to be up, it's like you will never regret going up, forcing yourself to get out of bed, forcing yourself to get dressed, as much as you might be tired, and then going to watch the sunset. I guarantee you when you're watching those beautiful sun rays, you're going to be like, I'm so glad I did this, and it was so worth it. And I feel like for you guys, again, there's this message of like making the most out of your life and realizing your own power and realizing that life is short and making the most of that, and not just like expecting life to unfold and make things happen for you, but kind of taking the reins with that and enjoying and embracing as much of it as you possibly can, not allowing your day or your life or your path to be dictated by just what's easy or what this feels comfortable, but like being willing to embrace the unknown, being willing to kind of like take on a new challenge, because there's also that message that like, you've got this, pile number 3. Like you are more powerful than you realize, you are more capable than you realize. And every situation is also that beautiful opportunity for personal growth. So even the things that we're like, no, I really don't want to do this and I'm not going to enjoy the process, it's like, well, then maybe it's a personal growth challenge and maybe you're learning something that you signed up for on the other side. But I feel like for a lot of you guys, this is really a beautiful month about like having fun, embracing, and also maybe some spiritual growth. We have this Ascended Masters, we have this Guardian Angel Spirit Family card, and we also got the Hierophant or the High Priest in that deck. So there's a spiritual energy around you guys, and there's an energy about also like finding your power, because the High Priest, aka the Hierophant, is also ruled by Taurus, the master builder, and it's kind of a card of stability and to a certain extent kind of like tradition and power and establishment and kind of like a position where there's a lot of respect. And I feel like for you, this is also about like realizing that you do have a certain level of power and influence, and kind of like embracing that, not being afraid of it, not being like scared of it, but being like, yeah, I found my voice and I know how powerful I am. So I am going to call in this favor, or I am going to like, instead of being scared, I am going to post as much as I want, or I am going to say exactly how I feel because I know my power in this, and kind of like taking stock of that. Or I am going to take off that vacation time because you know what? I freaking earned it and I know I deserve it. Let's get some tarot cards for you, pile number 3. So let's get some tarot cards for pile number 3. What's happening for them? Okay, this one really wants to come out in the month of July. Knight of Swords. Okay, we got the Knight of Wands, Knight of Swords, 10 of Swords, 6 of Pentacles, the Moon, the Strength card, and the 5 of Wands, and the 2 of Swords. I feel like some of you guys are very torn between like a decision you're having to make. And there's a message that the right decision for you is going to be about kind of like claiming your power, or about doing what really respects yourself. Like this is kind of about finding your self-worth, or realizing, like I said, your own power, realizing what you bring to the table, and kind of like taking stock in that. There's some energy about you guys being so powerful, being so amazing, and not fully realizing it. Like sometimes sacrificing your own needs or your own wants or your own desires for what other people think, and almost like being very overly humble at a time when you should be very proud and you should be like, excuse me, I did blah, blah, blah. Like, look how amazing I freaking am. Look how fantastic I am. And really like acknowledging that, really calling that out for yourself instead of trying to make other people feel comfortable by maybe like making yourself smaller. Like I know I've done this in social situations where like maybe you did do something really amazing, or you have like a really cool story to tell, but instead of actually just fully telling it and being like, yeah, so anyway, when we were climbing blah 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 mountain, you might make a joke about like, so we're climbing this mountain. I'm sweating. Oh, I'm so bad at climbing. I mean, they had to drag me up there and I was just so scared. And it's like you're joking and you're making fun of yourself. But the reality is you were totally fine and you love to hike and you climb mountains all the time. You know what I mean? Like, obviously that's just a metaphor. I don't actually climb mountains, or like not regularly. I mean, maybe I have in the past a few times, like smaller mountains. But my point is you might be an amazing climber. You might be a rock climber that's like can scale a cliff, and you're joking about like, yeah, so I'm so bad at it. You know what I mean? And in a way that can be charming, but sometimes we can really have that discomfort that seeps down into our soul of like, I don't want to be in the spotlight. I don't want you to be intimidated by me. I don't want you to run scared. So I'm just going to continue to make myself smaller. And I feel like there's an energy for you in the month of July of really stepping out of that and really like claiming your own power and really putting yourself in the forefront of that and like acknowledging how amazing you are to yourself and to others, and sitting with that discomfort of like, maybe it does make them uncomfortable when you say, yeah, this is what I'm doing in my career, or yeah, I just bought this house. So maybe instead of celebrating yourself, you're around people where you have to kind of keep yourself small so that they feel okay. And this is about being like, no, I actually did do that. And yeah, I know I'm amazing. And not that you have to brag or be a jerk about it or like rub their nose in it. But if you're having to keep yourself small, if you're having to lie and pretend and kind of like make yourself uncomfortable. And by the way, we got the Four of Pentacles. I think I read that as the Six of Pentacles for some reason, but it is the Four of Pentacles. This is about like taking that power back and not being willing to like make yourself smaller. So maybe instead of next time making an uncomfortable joke about like, or maybe you feel really like happy and in love with your boyfriend, but you don't want to make your single friend feel bad. So instead of you saying like, no, like he's so amazing and I feel so lucky, we're so in love, you make a joke about like, oh, he's always, you know how he is. He's always late and he's just like, and you kind of like play it off. But actually it might be more inspiring for your friend who's single and more helping her with her energy if you said like, no, I'm like really in love and he's amazing and I feel so lucky. And yeah, like I just am so happy. And sometimes we don't want to do that. We don't want to brag to the other person. We don't want to make them feel sad. So instead we kind of downplay it and we kind of pretend like, oh, it's not a big deal, whatever. But sometimes that energy can really seep down into our soul, and then we end up sabotaging situations. We end up not claiming that power, and then the situation falls apart and we wonder, why did it not work out? Why did this situation that was going so well and suddenly got sabotaged? Because the energy could feel that we were uncomfortable with it. And maybe we started panicking when things started getting good because we started thinking, oh my God, like my single friends are going to feel so bad, or my coworker is going to feel so upset that I got the promotion. So we kind of like low-key subconsciously, we're not feeling ready to claim that energy and we sabotage it. And I feel like this is an energy for you about really stepping into your power in the month of July and being really willing to embrace that and willing to embrace your power and being amazed at how well that pays off. Let's get some more cards for you. Pile number 3. You want to know what's happening in the month of July for pile 3. So we got family tree, expansion, legacy. Oh my God, I already pulled from this deck. Sorry. I love that I keep mixing up these two decks today. Maybe because they're the same color scheme. I don't know. But anyway, this deck, message cards for you. Pile number 3. So we got Star Keeper, cosmic ancestor, send the light by staying grounded. Activated earth, power places, ley lines, trust where you're led. Cracked open, rock bottom, surrender to the alchemy of life. You got the love, Hadrian energy, codependency, boundaries. And let's get one more. This one says Star Brothers, Horus energy, protection, loyalty, safety, trust. Yeah, this could even be your message if you are at rock bottom. If you're like, yeah, no, my life, I can't see July being that great because like right now everything's going bad. I got fired from my job or I had a breakup or whatever. This could be about taking responsibility for yourself and for your energy and how you may have manifested it. Not to like blame you or make you feel bad, but sometimes it can actually be really nice to know like, yeah, my energy is responsible for that. And I have the power to change that at any time. And maybe I wasn't uncomfortable with all the good things happening for me. So I did do things to sabotage it. And how amazing could my life be if I took that power back and I fully activated myself and I fully embraced my own power and I fully was comfortable sitting in that place of self-esteem and power, people looking up to me. I mean, that can be hard. That can be a lot to handle. A lot of people think they want that money, power, whatever, but when it actually comes down, they crack under the pressure. Think of how many celebrities like lose their mind or go kind of crazy or do something crazy because it's a lot of pressure. And so sometimes we really have to shore up our own foundation, and that's when it happens. If we have a deep feeling that like, oh, I'm not good enough for a job, it's like, no wonder we're not getting a job. No wonder we've been unemployed for a while. If we have a deep feeling that like, no one cares about my stuff, no wonder the TikTok isn't like popping off. If we have a deep feeling that like, yeah, I'm not really good in a relationship and I ruin everything, no wonder we're single. And sometimes it's about interrogating our own self-beliefs so that we can have the most blissful, abundant, joyful life possible, and knowing everything we deserve, knowing that this is our time to thrive. And a lot of this I think can come through family dynamics. Like if mom was a single mom and she kind of always thought that like men were trash and whatever, and you know, she might have a lot of reason to think that because men sometimes do a lot of horrible things. But if we have that mentality and we tell ourselves that, and then maybe we meet a guy and he's freaking amazing and we're falling in love, but we think mom would be so upset if she knew, she's going to be so deep down a little bit jealous. She hasn't been dating for years. She's been single for so long. And if I come in and I'm like, oh my God, I'm so happy, I'm in love, you know, it's going to really trigger her. So instead, I'm going to sabotage this relationship because I don't want to hurt her. Or my family that's always been in poverty and they always say things like money doesn't grow on trees. If I come in and I'm like, yeah, my business is thriving. Oh my God, I'm making so much money and it's so easy. I love my job. It's like the best job ever. That my family is going to be really hurt and upset because my dad had to work so hard every morning and wake up at 4:30 a.m. and he had the hardest life and I don't want to rub his nose in it. So we end up sabotaging what could be so amazing in order to make everyone else comfortable. And even though they didn't do anything wrong by that, we really do deserve the best life ever. And when we're living the best life, like when we're making the money, when we have a good relationship, we can give so much more to others. So why am I keeping myself in a poverty mindset to make other people comfortable when I could be helping them financially if I was able to access an abundant mindset and achieve abundance? You know what I mean? So I feel like for you guys, this is really about harnessing your power in the month of July, looking deep, doing that spiritual soul work and seeing what happens and seeing your own potential. So that is what I have for you. Pile number 2. I really hope that resonates. If it does, let me know down in the comments. I love hearing from you guys. And if you want to see more of my content, head on over to my Patreon. I just posted a reading all about your soul person, your special person, your soulmate, where they are, what they're doing, why they haven't come in, what the timeline is, all the info. But there are over 80 or maybe 90 readings. I haven't checked in a minute, but there are so many additional readings over on Patreon, and new ones get posted all the time. You also get early and ad-free access to all my YouTube videos. And if that sounds good to you and you're interested in signing up, head to the link underneath the timestamps in the comments in the description and join me on Patreon. Also, if you're interested in booking a private session with me, you can do that at my website, briarrosetarot.com, and sign up for a one-on-one session with me. Link is in my description for that. So thank you so much for watching, guys. I'm sending you so much love and light, and I will see you again very, very soon in another reading. Take care, guys. Bye.